Okay, so today we are going to look at features of proposals, and proposals are basically reports, or rather letters that we write to our boss or to someone who can do something about it, and we are proposing that something be done. So for example, proposal for maybe removal of the school pond, maybe because you find that it breeds too many mosquitoes and all the fishes have already died and there's like a stuff rotting and all that. Like, what's the purpose of still having the school pond there? So let's remove the school pond, that kind of thing, right? Or maybe you went to a supermarket or you went to a shop or something, and you realize how maybe disability unfriendly that place is, right? Because they have gates and all that wheelchairs can't go through. And so you might want to write a proposal to the supermarket, right? Or to the shop, and saying that you should be more disability friendly, okay? How about having entrances that don't restrict people who are on wheelchairs and stuff like that. Um, or, if you're working for a boss, you could be proposing a new idea to help the company to earn more money. Or maybe you're proposing a creative idea for a new product that the company should produce, right? So these are all proposals. And so you see why we need to write proposals in the first place, okay? Because if we can't write good proposals, then people won't take whatever idea we have in a serious manner, right? They won't be able to, or rather they won't be persuaded. So to write a good proposal, number one, you have to be persuasive, which means you need to engage that person's emotions, like why should they do it, right? In terms of how they feel about it. Number two, you need to engage their logic. Like, is your proposal logical? Does it benefit everyone or does it only benefit you? Right? And number three, who are you to write this proposal? Right? Like, what kind of status do you have? For the supermarket example, you are the customer, right? And the customer is a really strong persuasion authority for the supermarket and the shops there, because you are the ones basically giving money, or rather not giving money. You're basically the ones helping the supermarket to buy stuff, right? Or the shops to buy stuff. So if you say that, oh, your grandma on a wheelchair cannot get into the supermarket, that kind of thing, right? Then the supermarket better do something about it. If not, they are showing a very clear sign that they are not being very friendly to wheelchair users. Yeah. And then if you're writing a proposal to perhaps your boss, you got to ask yourself, have you had any good history before, track records before, of giving good ideas that help the company to earn lots of money, right? If you have, then the boss is more likely to listen to you, isn't it? Versus, if you're just like coming up with a brand new idea that no one has heard before, then what kind of qualifications do you have to say that, oh, your idea will definitely work, right? If your idea is something that involves building stuff, do you have a maybe a degree in engineering, right? To back it up and say, oh, this will definitely work, that kind of thing. So the third thing you have to think about is who you are, right? To say that in the first place. Like, come on, what kind of authority do you have? What kind of knowledge do you have? Okay, what kind of power do you have, right, in this situation, such that the person will listen to you in the first place? Okay, so you have to consider all of that. So in your situational writing, who you are, right, in the situational writing, that plays a big role in what kind of persuasive power you might have. So you need to read the question carefully. Are you the head prefect of the school? Are you the president of the CCA? Are you a long-standing contributing member of the student council, or what? Like, who are you to say in the first place? Okay, so we'll look at that a little bit later. Features of proposals. And today we'll be looking at the format also for formal letter writing, right? A little bit about that. And then we look at some current affairs. Okay, let's go. Before we delve into this, boys and girls, do you all have anything that you want to learn about English? Because English is a subject that covers everything basically. So sometimes you even have questions like, oh, Mr. Joel, what happens when people go to jail? How are they treated? That has to do with English as well, because you might need to know, right? If you write a narrative about someone getting caught and going to jail, yeah. Or you might even ask me something like, oh, what are the laws that protect teenagers our age? I can share with you as well, right? What are the laws, right? That what are the rules that teachers have to follow? Are all teachers good? Have there ever been some teachers who have been naughty and been convicted of a crime, that kind of thing? Yes, there have been, right? Because all of you deal with teachers every day, you might think, oh, teachers are so knowledgeable, they're the best people, so and so forth. But there have been some so-called black sheep, right, in the family of teachers, and they, right, have been sent to jail before as well. So, questions like that, general knowledge, right? Learning a little bit more about the world, that's part of English as well. All right, because if you know more, you can give me better examples that are more matured, and you can demonstrate those examples in your writing at school as well. That will definitely increase your content marks. Okay, so stuff like that, right? If you want to know, ask and you shall receive. Okay, so this is the format for proposal, like what I told you guys about just now. All right, so you have who it's to, and then you have the position. So over here we have the full name, including the salutation of the person, and then you have this person's position in the organization that he or she is working in, and here we have the company or organization, full name. Okay, and then who is it from over here? This is your name, obviously. Okay, and then this is your position. And then we have to have the date over here, right? So that's just the beginning. Now for this part, all right, please leave a line here, leave a line here. If you can't remember the format for proposals, I've sent you that Microsoft Word document, right? With all the situational writing formats there. Use that, all right, if you can't remember. Then you will have the title over here. Now this title, you can write it on the left like that, or some students, right, they can do it this way as well. They can have the title in the middle of the proposal as well. You can put the title here. Okay, that's fine too. Or you can do it here as well. No problem. On the left or in the middle, doesn't matter. But what matters is it needs to be underlined to show that that's the important thing that you need to look at over here, right? When I send it to you, right? So that you know what it's about. And then after that, you can write blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then at the end, thank you for your kind attention. So that's the proposal format basically. Now, at the end over here, do we see a sign off? Not really, right? No sign offs, right? So I hope from this you can see for proposals, you don't really need to sign off. You just say, thank you for your kind attention. Okay, that's it. This is not a letter. It's not an email. Okay, you don't need to sign off. You just thank the person and that's it. Okay, so that's the proposal. Now over here in this form over here, right, it's a bit different. The one that I gave you just now, right, this is in letter form. So this is a proposal format in a letter. If you're sending an email, you wouldn't need all this additional like position or company organization's name or whatever, because you can send it to the person's email directly. And the email by itself will tell you what organization the person belongs to. All right. And you also have that email address over here. So you're a student, that kind of thing. So yeah. Okay. And then you have the subject, like what I said over here. This is for email. You don't need to put it to the left or to the right. It's by default to the left. Okay. And here you have your, usual salutation. Dear Mr. Tan. All right. And then you go blah, 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 blah. Right. So, but normally the first paragraph is very important to introduce yourself and who you are. If not, the person wouldn't even know who you are, right? Much less read whatever you have to write, because like, who are you? Right? I don't know you. I don't want to read what you have over here. For all I know, you could be a scammer, right? There's lots of scam emails online. So introduce yourself, explain why you're writing, and then propose whatever you need to propose. So over here, all right, they say present choices. This is the part where you actually propose. That's the three choices you're proposing, basically. All right, so the three choices are blah, blah, blah. You could be proposing one idea only, or two or three, whatever. Just change it accordingly. Okay. And importantly, whatever you propose, all right, you need to explain your reasoning. Okay. And you also would need to be persuasive when you explain the reason. So the explaining the reasoning part, right, you are just touching the brain of the person only, because it's logical, right? That's the logical part of the person, right? It's all about the person's brain. But how about the person's heart? So when we are talking about persuasive, all right, when we're trying to persuade someone, we can't just, engage their logic. We also need to engage their emotions, which is their hearts. Okay. So how do we go about engaging their logic and their emotions? So for logic, right, we always talk about, how do we say, realistic, right? Realistic cause and effects. And then for emotions, we always talk about giving examples to elicit an emotion, which means to draw an emotion, yeah? So perhaps, for the supermarket example I talked about just now, right? Talk about how, oh, there are a lot of elderly in our neighborhood, and some of them, right, they deserve our sympathy, all right? They can't walk anymore, so they have to use wheelchairs. Are we going to deny them even the opportunity to get some groceries at your supermarket and stuff like that? Then the person will feel bad. The person will be like, oh, actually, I'm discriminating against, elderly people who are disabled. That's so dastardly of me. Oh, go ahead, Cerebel. Yeah. So, um, to elicit an emotion, right? Or maybe you can say about something like, think about the students, like just last year, okay, 6 students, right, came down with dengue fever because the school did not get rid of the pond, and then mosquitoes bred in it, right? And subsequently, they bit someone with dengue fever and they transmitted the disease to us, all right? Think about the welfare of the students and stuff like that. So that would be like emotions as well, like, oh, the pond is actually not such a good idea. The person will think, right? Oh, I should remove the pond because it breeds mosquitoes, stuff like that. So always relate it back to giving an example that will get some kind of emotional reaction from the person, right? That's called, emotions, using emotions, right, for persuasion. And lastly, persuasion is not just emotions and logic. It's also about authority. Okay.